Councilmember Jim Loon,
Sir.
can you attest to the fact that we have a quorum available?
Yes, we do.
Quorum being available, I declare this meeting open. Lonnie Waters, would you lead us in an invocation, please?
Lord, as we bow here amongst this host of people, Lord, we ask you to bless every home, everyone that's represented here. Lord, we ask you to bless these veterans that have come, firemen, first responders, law enforcement. Lord, all these people need our prayers and continued support, and we ask you to bless each and every one of them and their families. Lord, as we go through this meeting, Lord, just let us conduct this meeting to the willing prayer of the city of Jasper and all of its residents. Lord, we ask you for all these blessings and favors in your name. Amen.
Senator Proctor, would you lead us in the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council, you have the agenda in front of you. I'd entertain a motion at this time that we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion by council? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. And we're adopting the agenda. Council also presented to you are the minutes from the March the 7th, 2022 regular council meeting. I'll entertain a motion at this time that we adopt the minutes as presented.
So moved.
And second, please.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion by council? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. The motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a different type of a meeting for us in some ways. We have things that we're going to do that we're very happy to do. Some are sad, but all of them are necessary for us. And at this time, what we're going to do is ask council to come down front. We'll all come off the dais, and we'll also ask Chief Steve Roper to come up.
Sorry.
Sir?
Chief Roper,
Yes, sir.
I want to, on behalf of the city of Jasper, present you this award. This is for Fire Chief Steve Roper in appreciation of 38 years with the city of Jasper and 23 years serving as fire chief. Congratulations on your retirement, April the 4th, 2022, Mayor and Council.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and that's not quite all. So this is going to go
It's going to be a bronze rendition.
bronze, okay. And Sonia, if you would, please. Drum roll. When our new fire station is completed out front, then this in bronze will be placed on it.
Thank you.
And on this it says, Jasper Fire Department Station Dedication, Fire Chief Steve Roper. Steve Roper started his career with the Jasper Fire Department as a volunteer while attending high school. His mother, Ramona Roper, was a highly respected and dedicated Jasper city clerk. Her dedication to serve the citizens of Jasper was passed to her son. Steve trained and learned how to be a firefighter. He worked to develop others to be firefighters, moved through the ranks, and was appointed fire chief on October the 4th, 1999. Steve was an advocate for the Jasper Fire Department, While Steve was fire chief, the Jasper Fire Department provided excellent services to the city of Jasper. This fire station is dedicated in the honor and recognition of Steve Roper's exemplary service to the citizens of the city of Jasper, Georgia, resolved by the mayor and city council April 4th, 2022. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
And now, we have a couple of more things that we want to do here. So don't run off. Vaughn, if you will, please.
I've got to step off to the side. Chief, on behalf of 38 years of service to the city, 38 years to us, all those that's come and went, those that will come and go, we'd like to present you with your helmet as a small token of our appreciation. We love you. We're going to miss you.
Let's get a picture of this.
Okay.
Okay.
It's customary, ladies and gentlemen, it's customary in the fire service that when an outgoing chief, he makes his last call on the radio, they go 10-7. So if you would, we'd like to ask for a moment of silence while Chief Roper has the honor of making his last call.
.100 Pickens Fire.
As always.
100 Pickens Fire. That's a good idea. Pickens 100 is 10-7 for the final time.
Dropping off on another bridge. 100 is clear, 1808. Go ahead. Pickens Fire Dispatch to all units. The City of Jasper Fire Department is announcing the retirement of Fire Chief Steve Roper. After serving 24 years as Fire Chief and 38 total years of dedication and service to the citizens of the City of Jasper and Pickens County. Roper, you leave behind an inspiring legacy, one you should be very proud of. On behalf of Pickens County 911, it is my pleasure to announce City of Jasper Fire Chief Steve Roper, radio ID 100, you are officially retired from service at 1809 hours. Godspeed, Chief. We love you.
Operation 100. We appreciate your years of service, the knowledge you shared, and the laughs you shared with us. We love you and we wish you well on your retirement.
I will say, it has been an honor to serve with you and to serve you for the better part of my life. Thank you.
Hang on, we're going to get a picture. Y'all come around.
Mr.
this way.
Sullivan,
Do y'all over here. Folks, we hate to leave good company, but we're gonna take Chief Roper home in the fire truck, give him his final ride to the house in the fire truck, so. Enjoy your evening.
Take my ill-gotten gain.
This goes with you.
Just go to the.
You don't need this one.
Thank you very much. Thank
Leave
you.
any presents, we'll, town will take care of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll take.
This time I'd like to ask Matt Dawkins, Chief Matt Dawkins, if you will come forward, please. And your wife. I see he's coming with you, right?
He's like, maybe.
Oh, you decide not to? Okay, if you will, just hold this forward. Place your left hand and your right hand. Raise your right hand and repeat after me, please. I, Matt Dawkins,
I, Matt Dawkins,
do here swear or affirm
do swear and affirm
that I will well and truly perform
I will and truly will perform
the duties of Police Chief of the City of Jasper
Police Chief of the City of Jasper
to the best of my abilities
to the best of my ability
and will take only
and will take only
my lawful compensation.
my lawful compensation.
I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will faithfully perform
I will faithfully perform
the duties of Police Chief of this city
the duties of Police Chief of this city.
and that I will support and defend
I will support and defend
the charter thereof
the charter thereof
as well as the Constitution and laws
as well as the Constitution and laws
of the state of Georgia
of the state of Georgia
and of the United States of America.
and of the United States of America.
I am not the holder of any unaccounted
I'm not the holder of any unaccounted
for public money
for public money
due this state
due this state
or any political subdivision.
or any political subdivision.
And let me find my place here. Or any other state
Or any other state,
or any foreign state,
or any foreign state,
which I by the laws of the state of Georgia
by the laws of the state of Georgia,
am prohibited from holding.
and prohibited from holding.
I am otherwise qualified
I am otherwise qualified
to hold said office
to hold said office
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and laws of Georgia.
and laws of Georgia.
I will perform the duties of my office
I will perform the duties of my office
in the best interest of the city of Jasper
best interest of the city of Jasper
and to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
without fear,
without fear,
favor,
favor,
affection,
affection,
reward, or expectation thereof.
reward, or expectation thereof.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Amen. Might want to get a picture of him holding the Bible if you have not. Did you?
I couldn't get your picture.
I got it. You got it.
You got it?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. In that case, we've got it done if you got several. And as you will come in here and wrap them with you.
Are you? What on the boys?
Come here, Nate.
Come on, man.
Nathan.
He's like, I'm good.
We'll have another, we can bring it up on this too. Council, if we will just step to the side and let them stay there, and then we can have another photo of the family. Which I don't want to.
Come on, Doug.
He's like, no smile.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank y'all.
At this time, I'd like to have John Sherrill III, please come forward. How are you, sir? Oh, okay, you're going to hold for him, and we're going to try to turn this so that we can face the audience. And here we go. If you will, please stand right over here. Okay. And left hand, raise your right hand. And repeat after me, please. I state your name in full.
I, John Walter Sherrill III,
Do swear or affirm
do swear or affirm
that I will well and truly
that I will well and truly
perform the duties of fire chief
perform the duties of fire chief
for the city of Jasper
of the city of Jasper
to the best of my abilities
to the best of my abilities,
and will take only my lawful compensation.
and will take only my lawful compensation.
I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully perform
that I will faithfully perform
the duties of fire chief of this city,
the duties of fire chief for this city,
and that I will
and that I will
support and defend
support and defend
the charter thereof,
the charter thereof,
as well as the Constitution and laws
as well as the Constitution and laws
of the state of Georgia
of the state of Georgia
and of the United States of America.
and of the United States of America.
I am not the holder
I am not the holder
of any unaccounted for
of any unaccounted for
public money
public money
due this state
due this state
or any political subdivision
or any political subdivision
or authority thereof.
or authority thereof.
I am not the holder
I am not the holder
of any office of trust
of any office of trust
under the government of the United States,
under the government of the United States,
any other state,
any other state,
or any other qualified
or any other qualified
to hold said office
to hold said office,
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and laws of Georgia.
and laws of Georgia.
I will perform the duties
I will perform the duties
of my office
of my office
in the best interest
in the best interest
of the city of Jasper,
of the city of Jasper,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
without fear,
without fear,
favor,
favor,
affection,
affection,
reward,
reward,
or expectation thereof.
or expectation thereof.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you so much.
He probably is. He's not smiling.
Thank you. Council, real please.
We need a picture with council, y'all. Tara.
House to come around.
Yeah.
So now we'll take one with council. Now the second one.
It's a root rule.
And city manager figured out.
City manager.
Ready? Any more?
That's it.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for helping us with this process. We appreciate it. Okay, come down to old business. Consideration and approval of revisions to alcohol ordinance number 2022-02. And we'll ask our wonderful city manager, Sonia, to bring this to us.
Good evening, Mayor and members of City Council. We, after our extensive discussion at the work session on Thursday night, we took council's suggestions, and Mr. Siphon has made the changes to the alcohol ordinance according to your suggestions. You will find sitting at your desk a finalized version of those changes to be submitted in the for the alcoholic ordinance changes. And unless Mr. Siphon has any suggestions, then I would just request that City Council approve and adopt to amend.
We went over in detail on Thursday, so unless you have questions, we're just ready for the motion.
Council, at this point, I'd entertain a motion to approve
Make a motion to approve.
revisions to the alcohol ordinance number 2022-02. Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion by council? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. The motion carries. Under new business, item number 1 is an update on the Veterans Memorial Park Phase 2. We'll ask Mr. Frank Leist if he'll bring this to us. Sure, where are we going to put this at? Where is that?
You want to face it out the moment?
Got an easel right here that we can put it on. So.
Here we go.
Twist it around. We have copies.
We have copies.
Yeah, right here, copies. First, thank you very much, Mayor and Council, for allowing me to be present. I'm privileged to be here with you all. We have been working on this for a little about a year and a half, and we wanted to make sure, thanks for the advice, working with Lonnie Waters the past year and a half, to start preparing for Phase 2. As you're well aware, we have a memorial out there right now. We're going on our 3rd year since the dedication of that memorial. Just to update you all real quick, we presently have 896 bricks of honor out there. So we always had a vision of 3 phases. That was Phase 1. We can go to the next slide, please. As you know, as you can see it there. We're real proud of that park, and that was a vision that that was done by Wayne Poor, a Marine, retired, and took it to John Trumbull, who's no longer with us, and Ray Smith, if everybody remembers, he was senior project manager. So they took that vision and created this park. So we had a vision 2 for this. Next slide, please. As you can see, the park is definitely there. Real quick note for 896 bricks that we have mentioned there is that we were told that we'd never had 50 bricks out there. And so we're real proud of that. To make that park what it is today. And that is no excuse for anything, but this park belongs to the city of Jasper and Pickens County and the citizens of this county. And we want to make sure that it's understood. Granted, it is a veterans park, but it belongs to everyone that touches that park. And so Vision 1 was for all veterans. That was the intent when we built it, in honor of that. And so we were now looking at a vision for number 2. Vision 2, as you will see in front of you, is a vision that Wayne Poor had years ago, but that's not exactly what it came out to be. We have project manager Brian McIntyre that came up with this vision, and John Trumbull was starting that lead for this phase 2 for us. And unfortunately, he passed away, and I had to step up and become the project manager with Brian. So we came up with this vision, what we want to do, and to let you all know, it's right next to the park. We are going to honor the 55 Pickens County veterans who passed away during a war conflict. You have a monument right now in front of the courthouse. That is a monument that we want to relocate, and before we even spoke to you, we know that that belonged to the Pickens County, so we went to Pickens County and asked them if it was okay for us to move it. We asked Rob Jones prior to his departure, and we've asked Chris Stencil. The 2 things that they wanted us to know before we moved on with this and whatever is to make sure we can touch with the family members to let them know that we're relocating it. And that's really the whole thing. The star that you're seeing is where the monument would go. We would have tablets around it, like the tablets are in front of the phase 1 right now. And then in front of those tablets, we are going to place granite surfaces of uniformed soldiers that you see that are there. World War I, World War II, Korean. That is our intent. So we were going to honor it. As you're well aware, all veterans events that my 15 years have been here have been in that courthouse, in front of that courthouse. That was the only monument that we had for the veterans. And thanks to Brandon Douglas, when he was the business manager, and he renamed that street to Veterans Memorial Boulevard, he also included calling that park Veterans Memorial Park. That was never our intent, but it was great to know that he did that. And so when we thought about phase 2, we wanted to encompass. Can I go to the next slide? We wanted to honor those 55 who died for freedom for this city, county, and country. And how we're going to do it, we'll put them in the center of this phase 2 and place that where it needs to be relocated. And kind of ahead myself there. So it will make it inclusive. It will really truly be now called a Veterans Memorial Park when we place that monument at the park. That was truly the intent from the beginning. So we will communicate in every way we can to notify the families that we are relocating the monument. That is our intent. That's the next phase. And we will start and continue fundraising before we break ground, because that's the next stage that we have to do now, to start raising money. We're estimating between $85,000 and $90,000 to do this monument, and we've been very fortunate that we have halfway already. I have submitted some grants. Amacoa has been generous with us last year and gave us $20,000. The thrift store just submitted that grant. Last week they gave us $15,000 and asked me to go ahead and resubmit again in May for another. We went to Walmart, got $2,500, and then we had our first raffle last year and we brought in $10,000. So we're on a start, and now we just need to begin, but we'll need the funds. We will not touch that ground until we have the funds to build that. That is not the intent. So we also know that we were given granted permission from the city and the county, and we have a legal document that says that we can progress. That's where we're going with phase 2. Just for your information, phase 3, if I'm still alive and well, we plan to put a piece of equipment for phase 3. Everybody's asking for a tank or a helicopter. I'm not sure what's going to go out there, but the point is that will be phase 2 up toward 53. So we're moving that direction. So I'd like to introduce Larry Brown, our president for the memorial, and Jim Elrod, VP for the memorial. So I have any questions? I don't want to take up your time. It was kind of hard to follow that presentation there.
Thank y'all for all the hard work.
You did a good
And
job.
your service.
And that's our intent. You can move to the next slide if you want to know. That's the monument, of course, and the last slide are the 55 names that we plan to go with the monument. And we've been talking with the Blue Ridge Marble Company, who gave us, who built the tablets for us. Our understanding is they're the ones that did this monument, 1947, 49, I believe, and it's been kept up since. But it's not in one piece as we thought. When we met with them, it's in pieces. So we're gonna have to, I swear to you, we will be very careful about moving that down the street when the time comes, because we're gonna be concerned about that. Questions? Your time?
Councilman, questions?
Thank you, sir. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you for the update. Item 2 is discussion of sidewalks, and we'll ask Cortney Stuart to bring that to us. How are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you, Mayor?
Very good, thank you.
Good. So I want to introduce myself first off. I think I've met most of you, but not all of you in person, and I look forward to doing that. I am a resident of Jasper. They're just excited.
Congratulations, there's a lot of congratulations.
There are lots of congratulations. I am a resident of the city of Jasper. I'm also a business owner in downtown Jasper, 2 businesses. And I'm also your contract attorney for the municipal court. So I'm very excited to be here in person in front of you. I have some concerns about the sidewalks and the tables. I voiced those concerns at length to Councilman Proctor, to Councilman Rafffield, and also the mayor. I'm happy to discuss them with anyone else. Oh, and I've also spoke with the city manager. Everyone has been very accommodating to me. And when I say accommodating, I don't mean giving me everything I want. But listening to me and hearing my concerns. And we are on the path to getting a resolution that I think will be for everybody. I do want what's best for the city of Jasper, as I know that you guys do too, as a resident, as a business owner, as a councilman, want that. And so we are on the path to doing that. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have. I'm also happy to talk with you individually. I don't want to take up tons of time. I think that you already know where I'm at based upon your reports from the city manager, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Council, any questions?
Mayor and Council, if I may, Cortney and I have had, as she mentioned, lengthy discussions about this. It's an opportunity where we're at as a city. We're experiencing something that we haven't experienced in a long time, which is more foot traffic, more individuals in downtown. It's a great problem to have. And so as businesses approach us, as citizens approach us, we're going to navigate these opportunities with what our ordinances say, and if we have to revise any or amend any, we can certainly do so. Cortney and I did speak about some ordinances that are on the books currently. I will be presenting those to the city manager and the mayor to pass out according to council and legal if needed. See if we need to update those, see if we're making sure that everyone's able to have accessibility in downtown. So thank you for bringing it forward and sticking to it.
Absolutely. If I can help with anything, you guys please let me know. Do you have a question?
No, thank you for everything.
Yeah.
No. And I appreciate our conversation. It was really good in that, you're looking forward to what our city is going to be going through. And the fact that you might handle some positions in other cities, I felt like was a good way for us to reach out to you for some other problems. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you guys, and if I can help with anything in the future, please let me know, and feel free to reach out to me. Like I said, if you have questions, you just want to know my opinion on something, I'm always happy to talk. That's what lawyers do, right?
Cortney, as always, appreciate your friendship very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Item 3 is consideration and approval of DDA budget for second Saturday events. Marty Callahan, where are you, sir? There you are.
Council, I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you about our project. Back in September of last year, a group of citizens, business owners, and a few of our DDA members started looking at a adventure called Second Saturday. Second Saturday, we talked to some folks in the Canton area about their first Fridays and decided that Second Saturday might be a best opportunity to look at this. Second Saturday in Jasper and downtown, we had a planning session with our DDA back in December. We put together a task force. We met with the DDA again, and we decided as a task force to go to the DDA and get approval and for funds to present to council tonight. We submitted a budget for $20,000 for the 4 dates that you had prior approved, back for May, June, July, and August. And that's where we're shooting forward. This will include cost to rent a stage, which would be a stage that's used like in the past for the Jeep Fest that we've had a few times, not a back of a pickup truck where we would have some insurance issues there. This also would include costs for the production, for the lights, sound, and a mixer board, and also for expense for the bands and for having some porta potties used just for the events, and then some promotion costs at that. So right now we're looking at a budget item of about $20,000 that we proposed, and it costs about $5,000 per event. And then we're hoping by next year, if this goes well, we'll do a reevaluation, and hopefully we'll start this even sooner in the year and try to do 8 to 10 events, hopefully next year. So we are bringing more traffic into downtown, if you've not noticed it. It's not the DDA doing it, it's not you doing it, it's council, it's not the business owners, it's everybody. So what the effort that we're going to do here is we're going to talk, we're going to try to pull everybody together and do this. And we've talked about how we're going to do this, and we're going to stay authentic to Jasper. We're going to stay local to Jasper. Everybody that we talked about playing the music, the bands is all of Jasper. So we're trying to stay inside, and we'll grow it. You know, we'll have some growing pains like we did with sidewalks, but we're going to have. I think it's going to be a great thing, and something because people are starving to get out, and I think this is a good place to start.
Thank you. And I'll ask Mr. Radford if you will follow up with that.
Yes, so Mayor and Council, on the second Saturday discussion, Marty and DDA has been diligent. Marty specifically has been tasked with going out, gathering the details, getting the information provided for a specific budget. As you're aware, the DDA is on the move from infancy on to an operating standpoint. And when you are in that situation, they did not have a budgetary timeline. So this year will be different than years in the future. They'll actually go through a budgetary process. So this would actually come to council once a year for a DDA budget overall, not per item as we're doing now, so that the city can see exactly what's occurring. The cost associated with this is based on the information gathered from Marty, from the professionals that provide the services rendered. And so the $20,000 mark is the estimate. It may come in a little less than that. We want to make sure that we have everything we can to provide a safe and fun environment. And with that being said, this idea is not something we are creating. We are picking back off of a regional idea that I would say, sister city, if you'll so call it, Canton, has their First Fridays. And so we are piggybacking on the idea to gain momentum and bring people to experience our wonderful city. This is something we're going to learn from, of course, with the committee that's formed on the Pro property and the Pro Park. We do certainly expect that as that gains traction and comes to reality, that things will shift. So these events aren't permanently held in one location. We're certainly able to move them accordingly to what's best for the city. Sponsorship is something we have discussed. Marty's reached out to a couple of sponsor opportunities to get some feedback. We're waiting on that feedback. Just like you guys are experiencing the budgetary request with a short timeline, so are the sponsors. And so it's harder for them this year to adapt to that. So Marty and I have talked specifically about that. From now forward, sponsors will be approached first. We're really going to weigh in on that, try to get them to sponsor events and therefore lower the cost of the city. So what you're looking at for the total budget could be less, but I would request that we look at this a couple of ways. We can outright budget the $20,000, or we can do per event as required if the body so moves. Ultimately, whatever the city manager is more comfortable with, I can certainly support that.
Council, further discussion?
I'd like to make a few comments. First of all, it's exciting to see all the energy and the coming together of people in what we call building community. I was also very excited. The DDA has always been something very much interest to me as downtown revitalization. Matter of fact, a lot of the energy that we're experiencing now started with an old chamber committee called the Downtown Alliance Committee. I was very excited Friday afternoon to go into the brewery to get a beer and see not only Marty and the proprietor there, but the chamber is revitalizing their tourism committee, and it was exciting to see those groups working together. We tried this once before, and it was a dismal failure, but I don't have that sense of the energy now that's occurring, so I really am excited about it. I have some concerns about the monies and how sponsorships are going to be developed. I also see a great opportunity to dovetail this in the future, either with our Parade Park events and or a downtown Main Street program, which takes a long time. It takes a lot of dedicated and diligent effort. But I think this is a great move. So, that's all. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Anyone else from council? I think we would be remiss if we did not recognize Jack Dunn sitting in our audience and what he has brought to that committee also. So thank you, Jack, very much.
Thank you, Council.
And at this point, I would entertain a motion that we approve the $20,000 expenditure.
I'd like for Sonia or finance to weigh in how they would like that to be. What would be easier for y'all to do? Split or?
Well,
I think they're meaning per event or.
no, I think we do one lump sum. The DDA already has their own bank account. So what we do is just do a bank transfer and choose what budget line it would come out of. I think that would be the easiest way to handle it.
Are there any funds budgeted to this purpose or similar purpose this year's budget, or?
There is no funds in the budget. However, they do have about $9,500 in their bank account currently. So these funds would increase that by $20,000.
I would also point out that our hotel motel, we're not limited in that any way whatsoever.
Yes, sir.
As far as expending it on this particular project.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so.
Does that need to be part of the motion that it be from motel tax?
Because it goes back into the general.
You want it part of the motion?
It does go back in the general fund, but if you want to designate that as your funding stream, there's nothing against that, nothing wrong.
How about if we talk about it at our retreat and then subsequent to the retreat, decide how those funds are going to be guided? I'm not discouraging them before we make a commitment under a little bit of duress. I guess it would be maybe worth conversation. But,
As to where we're pulling it from.
Yeah.
Are we going to table this conversation until after that, or
No, sir.
do we want to go ahead and?
We have the funds available.
He's just talking about how we're going to pull it where we're from.
So
I'll make a motion. We budget $20,000 to DDA for the second Saturday events.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion by council? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. And you have your budget, sir.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you for all your hard work, James, and the whole DDA.
Item 4, consideration and approval to issue an alcohol license for Jasper 786 LLC. And I bet Ms. Lindsey Williams is going to bring this to us. Thank you, Lindsey.
Evening, Mayor and Council. In your packets, you'll see that we received an application for Jasper 786 LLC. They're located at 585 East Church Street. They're applying for a beer and wine license by the package. They have met all the advertising and background requirements. We're just asking for approval of this license. They're changing owners. This 585 East Church Street is the BP across from Speedburg.
Council, entertain a motion at this time. We approve the alcohol license for Jasper 786 LLC.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion by council? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Item 5 is consideration and approval of waterline extensions. And we'll ask Lonnie Waters to bring this to us.
Mayor and Council, you have included in your package these 3 locations, one on Cove Road, which is Old Tate Mill, one off of Hill City Road, which is Fire Tower Road, and then one on a private property off of Grandview Road that has just been purchased. These three have came to my attention in the development department, and they have asked for water line extensions. They have, we're not sure how many homes yet on each one, but I'm here tonight to ask permission to move forward and get more information about this. Some of them have asked to that they would help finance it. They will be buying meters, and I want to be able to come back to the city manager and or the water committee or whoever we need to, and be able to discuss these three extensions with more knowledge than I have right now. So all three of them are in our service delivery area. All three of them, we have 6-inch water mains already that they could tie on to, and we just need permission to move forward with this.
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Go ahead.
I gotta confess, I'm a little bit remiss in this project. Somewhere in my mind, I thought that Lonnie was coming before us for approval for an application and to negotiate these projects. And for that reason, I did not have any prior conversation with Lonnie about this. I have had conversations with Sonia about this and similar projects. And I think we are at a time in our development where we need to better scrutinize the impact that these projects have on our water source. In a recent conversation and negotiation with a developer, Ms. Jammes laid out a fairly good process in my mind that we could possibly use in this case, where the developer was asked to provide engineered drawings before we would approve them, and those drawings would come before committee. If committee evaluated that process, it would then go forward to the council and ultimately be approved. And I think without any knowledge of the impact that these projects are going to have, we at least need to have engineered drawings before we start making decisions about whether we can move forward or not. So I could see that being handled in several ways. We could either table this consideration, or we could grant Lonnie the permission to tell those folks that we need engineered drawings, and then move forward with that process and subsequent to those drawings being evaluated.
If I may, none of these are developers. All of these are individuals that's wanting a water line brought to their homes. None of this is for development. These homes already sit there, they're on wells, and so they're asking for city water.
I think it's still
this
gonna
is
have
not
to
a
be
development.
engineered, will it not, and then go back to the committee?
Lonnie, I really appreciate your commitment to our community, and you're well known throughout the community as being somebody that tries to balance everybody's interest. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you.
But I really think we're at a time frame now where if we have to put increased demand on our system, we need to have that somehow quantified. Unless Mr. Siphon has some other recommendation, I think that we put the onus on these people who want our water to justify. And then subsequent to that, we have another huge argument before us. Historically, we've done cost of construction versus having impact fees. And I think council's at a position where we need to start studying that very closely, because what it costs us now doesn't really take into account the impact that it's going to have on our system as we continue to deliver a much needed resource, but also the maintenance. I think that's part of the reason that we have identified quite a few infrastructure issues, because we let people pay to put it in, and then we didn't maybe adequately prepare for how we're going to take care of it. So,
yes, sir.
I will jump in here and say that at least for water and sewer, for those two services, you don't have to jump through all the hoops of doing an impact fee and evaluation, engineering report, development of an impact fee schedule. You can do, they've accepted out water and sewer, so you can kind of basically do the same thing without as much expense by doing a system capacity fee, you know, that looks at not just what it costs to get the lines to a certain area, but when you think about your sewer plant or your water plant, there's a finite capacity to that plant. So one thing you gotta start thinking about is, well, we need to recapture the consumption of that water plant resource and that sewer plant resource and create a capital improvement fund so that, you know, growth helps pay for expansion of the systems. And I guess the good news is legally you can carve out water and sewer and not have to jump through all the impact fee hoops. And that would be what I would suggest that y'all think about and consider and maybe take on as a project. Because as y'all know, we're having to expand now the sewer plant, but at least at one time, Lonnie was saying we could have like 2,000 new residential units, you know, in the next year or so, which is a heck of a lot of residential units that would, you know, eat up a lot of the capacity of the new plant for sewer and eat up our current withdrawal permit for water. So those are some things that I think we're going to have to look at and work through.
And if I may, we as a council agree with you totally. Now, one question on this particular item, Sonny, would be if we did a table on this for a month, that you get some more information and bring that information to the water committee for an evaluation. And then if it turns out that there's some movement there, that could be done. Instead of just dropping it, but at least get more information. You know, table for a month as far as we're concerned, but in the meantime, gather what information you can, get with Sonny and discuss what he needs for that committee, and then let's see if that can be brought back to council through the committee.
City Manager?
If I may, I would like to request that we do some type of engineering look at these water line extensions, whether it be our engineers and we charge the requester a fee, or the requester go and get their engineers to look at this. I would like an engineer to look at how this is going to impact our system and the capacity. So,
Can we ask the water committee to get with you and then y'all come up with a game plan on the future and how this is going to affect the system and also with the impact fees and stuff?
I'd be glad to do that. I did, but again, I apologize. I thought that he was coming forth with an application, a request for, to start exploring. And that was what was in my mind, and I don't know where they came from. We'll probably never know. But nonetheless, I certainly we can, and this is a little bit news to me about being able to carve out water and sewer. And I think making a decision under the current kind of new information wouldn't be wise. So tabling would suit me. Sonia,
I'm fine with that as long as you relayed that it's not a no, that we, could still consider it, but we need some more information. And if they would like to, we have some fees set aside that our engineers would charge just per evaluation. If they would like for us to ask our engineers to proceed with that and they're okay with the charge set forth, then we would be happy to ask our engineers to do that.
I think above and beyond the impact is, when do we get to the point where our crews are not capable of doing this work? And I think that's where some of the engineering advice may be helpful. And I know, I mean, our crews have a lot of experience putting water lines in, but as
there aren't as many of them as there used to be.
Right, that's correct. So a table would be awesome.
Make a motion that we table this and.
Have a motion to table?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion by council?
Just one thing, the way I'm reading the action request is to give permission to move forward with negotiations and plans. It's not for approval.
That's what I typed in there. See, I haven't met with these people. This is all came through phone calls and emails. And that's, to start out with, I was wanting to get more details. How many houses are we talking about? How many feet are we talking about? Where are they wanting it to start and stop? That type of information is what I was gathering, but due to...
I think we turned it into an approval when really what they're asking is that we can...
I knew I read that somewhere. It was actually in the meat of the, I knew I'd read it. I just, when I saw when Sonia and I talked about it, I saw the agenda, I was like, I asked her, was there something else?
Well,
sorry, folks. That's what
we've got to get more information, but I didn't want to go before these people and start asking a whole bunch of questions, getting their hopes up and everything, without at least getting some kind of acknowledgement from council or city manager, one or both, about going and talking to them and getting all this compiled. And then I could come back at another council meeting and give you the information per road that they're wanting the extension on.
Yeah, I question whether we have anything to table. I think we just continue with negotiation and the Water and Sewer Committee.
If I may, this is just a matter of us needing to set up a process. Every person that comes into the office asking this question, we have this stepped out process that they need to go through. So that, and then it needs to be brought before city council after that process has been vetted and followed. And then we bring it before city council.
Yeah, and that's why I'd like to see you work with the committee and come up with a process that everyone's comfortable with and bring it back.
We can articulate the process.
Council have a motion, so I would ask you to withdraw.
Okay, I'll withdraw the motion.
I make a motion to continue with the, with exploring the situation and establish a process and report to Water and Sewer Committee.
Second.
Motion and a second to establish a process before the Water and Sewer Committee on these type of activities. Any further discussion about that? All in favor?
Thank you, council.
Thank you, council.
Mayor, before we go to committee reports, if I could make a report on the Mountain Way street dedication. Y'all would remember at the work session on Thursday, Mr. Waters, Lonnie brought up that the developer was wanting the city to accept the street that's designated as Mountain Way. And since Thursday, mostly today, I got in the proposed right-of-way deed for that street and made some suggestions as to changes in the language. I was basically wanting them to certify that the street meets the street specifications of the city, just so that we would know if we're taking that street in, that it was built according to city standards. The current developer is questioning, I guess the way to put it, them certifying the street, in that evidently they got that street from a prior developer, but the prior developer didn't dedicate it to the city. So the current developer is wanting us to take it and is offering it to us, but isn't wanting to certify to the street specifications because they didn't actually build the street. And so what I would suggest is maybe y'all do a motion to accept the dedication upon the city manager and city attorney working out the requirements of the right-of-way deed. And that way, if we work it out in the next week or so, they don't have to wait until May to have that deed be approved by the council. And it would just give us a way to, I guess, be sure the city's not getting a pig in the poke, as the old saying goes. And, you know, I think we can work it out because this is a good developer, a reputable developer. He's trying to do what's right. But I do kind of want to work out the language of the deed just so that we're comfortable in what we're accepting. So maybe a motion to accept the dedication of Mountain Way contingent upon the city manager and city attorney approving the deed language. And I'll be glad to explain more or answer questions.
So we did have one discussion on that, David, about not taking that street in until after that development was done. Has this affected that in some way?
The deed does say that they'll maintain the street until 1 year after the first certificate of occupancy is issued to their development, which I thought, you know, means not a year from today, but a year from when that development gets their certificate of occupancy, and then a year after that. So we've addressed that issue. What I'm trying to figure out now is, did they do the actual construction of the street in accordance with our street specifications? Which I don't know, and evidently the current developer doesn't know, since they're balking about making that certification.
And there's really no way to find out at this point about that.
Well, may have to send an engineer out to take a look at it.
So does a performance bond or a maintenance bond not cover these kind of things?
A performance bond or maintenance bond covers the upkeep of the street during the term of the bond. It wouldn't cover how the street was originally constructed insofar as base and width and striping and all the other requirements that we have for a city street. So I was just trying to come up with a way that we could reasonably accommodate them, but be sure that the city's protected.
I want to get this motion right, and so I'm going to ask you to tell us what this motion is. The language that we needed for you.
It'd be a motion to accept the dedication of the Mountain Way right-of-way deed contingent upon approval of the language of the deed by the city manager and the city attorney.
I'll entertain a
What he
motion to
just
that
said.
effect.
So moved.
And I need a second.
Easy way.
Second for discussion.
Do I have to? Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead and discuss.
For the discussion, and I may be out of line, Mr. Sophan, if so, please forgive me, it's not personal. It appears as though the conversation has steered the agenda away from what was originally approved when we open the meeting, this would be item 6 under new business. Their due diligence failure doesn't impart action on our behalf in order to allow that certification process, in my opinion.
So we can go in
Require-
executive session if we need to do that.
It's fine. The concern I would have, number one, is the agenda doesn't show for an item number 6. Would we need to amend our agenda?
You can amend the agenda to add this as an item, and you are correct, it doesn't show it on there. The reason why it doesn't is they literally didn't get the deed to me till this afternoon. And it wasn't the only thing I had to do. And I sent them changes back, and then we were still discussing that.
It's an entertaining discussion, I promise you that.
When I had to leave to come to the meeting.
Understood. Thanks, sir.
So I need an amendment to the agenda to add item number 6.
Motion to amend the agenda to add.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The agenda is amended to add item 6. And now I would ask for a motion and a second on item number 6 to accept the dedication on the Mountain Way Street right-of-way contingent upon our city manager and city attorney approval.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same.
Aye.
And at this point, we come down to committee reports, and before we do any of that, I think that we want to come out of committee, Mr. Looney and Mr. Proctor, and have a discussion on the meeting the other night on the
Road park.
So let's do that. If we need to amend another agenda, we'll do that.
Jim, take it, man.
Okay, at our last council meeting, we appointed a group to be a steering committee for Borough Park. Group met Tuesday night. I had a package of different renderings of parts of what the original concept was for the area, and we walked through that. And I asked them to take that package home with them and write on it, or send me an email with how they would like to see the park phased, and different parts of the park that they had concerns with, and parts of the park that they had already fallen in love with. I have heard from most of the committee on that. We also asked for a recommendation from the group on how to proceed with the cabin on the property. That was a committee, the council voted on that, I believe, Thursday night. And also had a presentation from Green Suttles on the ARC process, application process for funding, and that has begun. So we're moving. My intent is to give each council member a copy of the package that was presented to the steering committee, along with all their comments, and I can't do that until I get all the comments. So probably this week I'll have that prepared. If we don't hear from somebody, I'll send it out with what we have. But Tara has already done made a presentation package for me that I can email out. She has scanned the documents. I will be able to send an email with the findings on putting it on a Word document. So you can expect a couple of pretty good sized emails for review. My guess is the committee would probably come to you sometime in the future and ask for it to be a item on a workshop, retreat workshop. This is not something that's going to go quickly. Lord, it ain't going quickly yet. Why should it start now? But I would think this would be something that would be a presentation at a workshop that we could have.
So I think it's, first of all, it's tremendously exciting, of course, and I would ask that at least for a period of time, this be a permanent fixture on the agenda and believe, and we can take it from there. But I think there's a lot of duplication of conversations being had about events and second Saturdays and stages and bands and entertainment. So I just look for us not to only make decisions about what we're doing now, but also look and see how these things could dovetail in the future. And so, but it was an exciting meeting. It was fun. There was, food and no public monies were spent, but we entertained each other and had a good meeting. And looking forward to continuing the process. And for a long time now, we hoped it would happen, and then we weren't so sure it would happen, and now I feel pretty confident that this is going to happen. So.
Questions from council? We move forward to the Development Committee. Dr. Proctor.
Development Committee, 10 days ago, we had an in-person meeting to go through item by item of our new ordinances, and that was a very productive meeting. There are just a few items that are still hanging with questions around those, and we have a Zoom meeting in about 2 weeks, I think, or so, a week from tomorrow, actually. And so hopefully we can wrap it up then, and then we turn it over to Mr. Stiphen, let him rip it apart.
Start over again.
Start over again. But nonetheless,
why don't we just let him do that start then, all right?
It's gone well, and overall, and a lot of questions that that we still have about some of this stuff as it relates to our growth and how to manage it and our infrastructure and but we're working through those things.
Less progress.
Yes, sir. Yep. So, thanks, sir.
Thank you. Street and Parks.
The only thing we've got going right now, and I'll let Kim give us the update since she's in contact with them on Wigginton Park. It's kind of exciting though, it's getting rolling.
So Doris Wigginton Park is moving along. We should have the trail builders kind of completed plan for the trail system, along with his suggested phasing and the estimates for what he believes the park is going to be. Once they got out there and they started doing the flagging, they realized that there are some areas in the park that are not suited towards trails. And so between carving out a little area for Hope House when that happens and the areas that are not suitable for trails, we're down from probably what they had anticipated to be 3 miles worth of trails to maybe closer to 2 miles of trails. And that leaves some buffer space with Arbor Hills as well, some buffer space around Hope House. Some areas for projects, if there are some groups that are interested in doing, a birding type project.
Seeing how that's going to work inside cleaning. And we discussed staffing needs. Some of those we discussed at Thursday night and approved at Thursday night, so there's any surprises to that.
Thank you, Jim. Water and Wastewater Committee, I have John.
Okay, last Thursday night at our meeting, we approved to bid to dredge Cove Creek, but we were still have to wait on EPA permits. We did vote to receive a bid to repair J.L. White, which is a long waiting. And then we also approved the purchase of a new pump for the wastewater plant.
Very good.
I have some questions. Sir?
Recognize.
Fishing wildlife, where does that, is that water? Didn't they come out, didn't we have an issue with them?
We had a meeting with FEMA and U.S. Fish and Wildlife.
Okay.
We have worked with Turnip Seeds. They have answered all their questions on Cold Creek, and they are looking at the Penley Creek off of Grandview to see what we can do with that water line, if there's anything we can do. And so we're staying in touch with FEMA and Fish and Wildlife. As soon as we get that answer and they approve it, then everything's clear to go.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, sir. This time.
Police and fire would be, I don't know which one of you two wants to take this tonight.
Jim, do you have anything?
No surprise, we have 2 new chiefs for our police and fire department. Glad to have them with us. That was quite a bit of effort by council. I hope we never go through doing 2 at the same time.
Yeah, whose idea was that?
Whose idea was that?
It was a great process, though.
Yeah, great process and very pleased with the results. Police cars. I believe police cars are, all of them are just 4 now.
No, they are all at Madden Associates, waiting for equipment to be put on them. We're actually going over there, I'll tell you here in a minute, Monday, and check on the progress, and I got some other stuff I'll mention here in a minute. But yeah, they're coming along well.
Good.
I'm happy, very excited.
That's all I have, Steve.
Mayor, council, it has been a process, and the 2 new chiefs are here with us. I am thankful for both of you. I'm proud of both of you. This organization went through a process that has historically not been in place. And so when we go through this brand new process as a body, we had opportunities and obstacles to overcome. I will say I'm very proud of everything that went into this, over 1,700 pages for review from your elected body. And I'm very proud of the 2 of you, and I'm thankful for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will say, before we get off police and fire, the drawings for the fire station addition are near completion. I did have a conversation with the architect today, and don't beat on me for saying this, but I did ask them to allow me to show the drawings to our new chief before they complete that process. And so John, started on the 18th. I'll have some drawings that you can look and see what your comfort level is with them.
That sounds great, I appreciate it.
Now, I'll hush.
Okay, in that case, we're going to move to Lindsey with financial. And it looks like there's a lot.
Mayor and council, so in your packet, you'll have your budget report. Currently, you should be about 25% of your annual budget. Majority of our departments are running at or below their budget amount, which is great. As Jim said, we did purchase 5 police cars, which is very exciting this month. And we also had our auditors here, Rushton and Company. They were here March 21st, week March 21st, and so far everything's going well with them. If y'all have any questions, you can just reach out.
Thank you for everything you've done. I know that's been kind of tough with just, Beverly leaving, and we just said, here it is.
We got
you did a good job.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Great job, Lindsey. Thank you.
Thank you.
Development report, Lonnie Waters. Do we want to hear this, or do I need to go hide some?
Oh, this is good.
All right.
For the month of March, we did 22 new residential permits, 9 renovation permits, 3 sign permits. for a total of $46,735 for 1 month. We did 117 on-site inspections, 15 soil erosion on-site inspections, 28 animal calls, and issued 7 new business license applications for the city of Jasper.
Perfect, thank you, Lonnie. Now, fire report, I would entertain a motion that we accept the fire report as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, discussion, all in favor? Opposed, same. And, as far as the police report goes,
So we take it too.
entertain a motion that we accept the police report this time as presented.
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed, same.
Did you just?
I think Chief might have
Chief
some
does have something to
comments.
say.
And at this point, we would invite our new chief of police to come up and say something, but we don't want to hear your report.
Yeah.
Only thing I have in hand is a contract, so.
Where's your beard, man? All that mess, did you shave it off?
No, y'all remember, I said, we're in Class A, we will be shaving. We're gonna, Class A for a little bit, if you're gonna be in a ceremony, funeral, or something like that, you're gonna be expected, clean up. Bring a couple of things to y'all's attention. One, we do have an officer that is in the hospital right now, Officer Hogan. It's not COVID, but it is something to do with lungs and stuff like that. So he will be out of service for a little while. We're going to prayers and the vehicles. They are coming along hopefully better than they did getting here. It took forever. We changed the decal a little bit. Showed kind of some rack build. I think it looks good. It's going to look good on the gray, and it looks good on the white, but we're hopefully getting away from the white vehicles and the white gray vehicles. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else we've had. Can you think of anything that we really?
Tinge on the patch.
Yes, the patch that we have. It's not in, hadn't been drawn up yet, but I was going to bring it to y'all and hopefully get some approval of redesigning the patch. Not the shape of the patch, that's all going to stay the same, but inside the patch, something a little different, and the colors of the patch. Maybe not so bright.
As long as it don't say yellow jacket.
It what?
As long as it don't say yellow jacket.
No, it's not saying. No, it will not. A lot of it's going to stay the same. Most of it, the colors will change, and what's inside the patch will change. So hopefully we'll get a drawing up and we'll be able to present it and see what's up on it. Other than that, thank y'all very much. I didn't want to tell y'all that.
Thank you.
It has been a long time coming, but I am grateful. Look forward to continuing our adventure. Thank you.
Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I got one thing I'd like to share with folks. So yesterday was the first day at the hospital with no COVID patients.
Yeah.
So on Tuesday.
That's a good thing. Chief Sheriff will extend an invitation to you to say a few words if you'd like.
Okay.
Unofficially. Or you can put a coat on, so.
Well, I appreciate y'all having faith in me and bringing me here. Me and my family look forward to coming to Jasper, and I look forward to doing some great things. I do plan on having at least a 5-year plan in front of you in the first 90 days. To come in and kind of evaluate where we're at and what we're doing, and if it's not broken, I'll fix it, but improve on what we've got going on already, and like I said, present you a plan to move forward to grow the department to match the city.
Great.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Can you remain a few minutes after? There are a couple of us want to have a conversation with you.
Of course.
Need a
Thank you
couple
so much.
signatures too.
Where's Tara?
She needs some signatures.
There we go. Council, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor?